Well, hello, folks out there in YouTube land. Got a big show lined up for you. Let's get right on into it. All right. Yeah, we're going to do a report card for the Vols and NC State. This ought to be fun. And also, I'm probably going to do another show later today, and I'll be discussing South Carolina versus Kentucky, Auburn versus California, and Florida versus Sanford, because everything's fine in Florida now. They've got their quarterback in place. They beat up on Sanford and Son. Lamont didn't even hardly show up. He was terrible in the game. Fred had the big one.
The worst one, this is a big one. I'm dying. You hear that, Elizabeth? I'm coming to join you, honey.
And Florida rolled, so we'll be discussing that a little bit. And we'll also talk about Kentucky not showing up against South Carolina, making me look really bad and causing quite a bit of mockery of yours truly. And if there's one thing y'all know, I'm not to be mocked.
And I will not be mocked! The insolence and bold effrontery!
Yeah, the South Carolina fans are having a lot of fun. But let's talk about Tennessee versus North Carolina State. And to get it started, before I do the grades, I want to kind of give you a feel for how North Carolina State folks are feeling right now.
And then Grayson McCall's pick, a backbreaker for NC State, pick 6 that leads to Tennessee taking ultimately what was a 20-3 lead into half. They run away with it in the second half. I mean, it just created a snowball that led to just one of the most embarrassing nights of the Dave Doran era. So just your thoughts on the offensive side of the football.
Well, you talk about McCall's interception being a backbreaker, and well, that certainly was not great. I think if we take a step back when we look at it, they still would have gotten blown out. I know it snowballed, but it is just, how overmatched NC State was just staggering. Just not even on the same wavelength as Tennessee.
Well, and my whole point was, if that happens, say you score there, that makes it a 10-10 ball game. They go down, get the field goal they did. That's a 13-10 ball game at the half. No, by any stretch, you're not still, maybe you still get steamrolled in the second half, but the confidence.
Oh, you do. I know what you're trying to say, but you do.
There. Yeah.
Yeah, so the folks over in North Carolina land are not thrilled. They saw the game as well as we did, and it was a struggle for North Carolina State. When I get into the numbers here and I start giving the grades, you'll understand. Obviously it was a blowout, 51-10, and realize 10 of those points came off those 2 interceptions. Nico had 1 legitimate interception. That was the first one where he tried to throw it into a tight window. The second one, he got hit and his arm went straight up, and he threw the ball 30 yards in the air, and one of their linemen picked it up and took off. So I don't really count that one, but that was 7 of their points, and 3 was the other. The defense didn't allow any points, really, to speak of. And I'll show you the numbers. You'll understand why. Yeah, Grayson McCall had 104 yards in passing with an average of 4.7, which is unbelievably low. 1 interception with a QBR of 22.7, which is terrible.
But wait, there's more.
Rushing, yeah, right here, 39 yards rushing. That is just, So I think I can pretty much say on the defensive side of the ball, and that includes the secondary. So I'm including the secondary and the defensive line together. Here is your grade on defense, because we might as well combine it. Yeah, A+++. I am so pleased to legitimately give the secondary an A+. I can't begin to tell you, because you folks know I've had to sometimes grade them on a curve. Well, I didn't have to. Less than 150 yards total against NC State, which is they've got a good quarterback and they know how to move the ball. So I'm really pleased with that. Now let's get into the offense. Nico Iamaleava actually didn't have his typical perfect game. He had a really good game, but not a great game by his standards. Of course, his standards are 3 games. 16-23, 211, 2 touchdowns, and he had that 1 weird interception with a QBR 77, call it. And then if you look down here, he did run the ball for 65 yards and a touchdown, including a 31-yard one, which was awesome. So I'm going to have to give him an A-. First time I've not given him an A+, A-, B+ for him. But again, I'm grading against him, not against a regular quarterback. So A-, I'm cool with that. Our offensive line and our running backs, fantastic. Ran the ball for 249 yards, which is just great. Anything over 200 yards is outstanding. And the other important part was NC State had 0 sacks. 0 sacks. So they ran for 250 yards and didn't allow a sack. So offensive line and running backs, here's your grade. Another A++. I got no choice. Those numbers are outstanding. Let me show you a couple of other numbers that are really good, and you'll understand why you knew the defense was going to get an A+. But look at these numbers. Right here, tackles for loss. Down to the bottom, 13. 13 TFLs. And oh, by the way, look at how many people played in this game. This is us on the left. I don't know how many that is. That must be like 24 or more. Way more than NC State had in the game. We played everybody. There's guys in here I don't even recognize. I don't even know if some of these guys are members of the team. Look, Nico had a tackle. That was after that interception. So we emptied out the sidelines on defense and had 13 of those TFLs, which is just strong as crap. You're seeing now 2022 offense combined with a new defense that's really strong. That makes us incredibly dangerous. If this defensive backfield holds up like it looked like last night, we could be a very, very dangerous team.
That's right. Nice. Man, I am dangerous.
Absolutely. And we're number 1 in offense in the country as far as scoring now, which is where we belong, where we typically are. And that's even with the new rules where you don't get the timeout when you get a first down, and when you go out of bounds, they keep the clock running and all that once they set the ball. Used to not do that. So it's harder to score, but we're scoring tons of points. Now, to me, the play of the game, and everybody's going to say the pick six. I totally get it. Of course, that's the play of the game. That totally flipped it into where you could tell the momentum switched and we were going to blow them out. It was like we immediately went 17-3 and then just it was over after that. But to me, it was a following play. It was a 2nd and 12. We were on about our 30, and NC State still had a chance to get back in the game a little bit. And Nico threw a dime, 45 yards to Squirrel White. And Squirrel made a great catch. It was a perfect pass, and that's when I knew it was over for sure. The pick six was huge. I was like, okay, all the momentum, we got a 99% chance of winning. When he hit Squirrel White for that 45 yards, it was over for sure. I knew in my mind there was no way they were coming back. Not even a chance. It was just a matter of how many points we were going to score. So, play of the game 2.0 was the Squirrel White pass. And, of course, Nico's run for 35 yards for a touchdown or 31 yards. That was obviously a huge play, but the game was over by then anyway. For NC State, I usually don't give opposition a grade. I got to give you an F, man. I really hate that because I don't have any problem with NC State fans or their team. We never play them. I don't really, they don't think about us. We don't think about them. But I got to give you an F, man. I know you tried. In the first quarter, you were doing okay, but you kind of fell apart, especially in the second half, turning the ball over. So you get an F.
That is why you fail.
Sorry, but I got no. You probably would agree with that grade. Anyway, I did want to do a report card, and again, I'll do another video later today on those other teams, and I'll talk about Tennessee as well because I always do. But anyway, if you like this content, be sure to hit that like button. Let's continue to cover all these big stories. If you've not subscribed, boom, 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 hit that little button. It will not cost you a dime, and it helps me out. And right over here is the most recent video. YouTube thinks you'll enjoy based on your viewing history. And we will see you next time on Sports Talk J, or later today.